get started. The students are going to help us start with My Country physically. So.
Country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's pray. Gracious God, we give thanks for the community in which we live, for the joys of the village, for all of the blessings of being in this town. We give thanks for the leaders and the institutions that guide us and look forward to knowing more about them today. May the food that we've eaten this morning nourish us to do the work that we all do in the jobs to which we participate. Be with us this morning, we ask in your name.
Thank you, Pastor Burke. This is our second annual State of Wellington breakfast, and this is indeed a team effort. We first must thank the Fraternal Order of Eagles for providing breakfast this morning and offering us this beautiful hall. This is the 10th year of the Eagles being out here, and it's hard to imagine it not being here now. They've done so much for the community since they've been able to get out here. You know, so many important events out here today that they couldn't do in that hall of town where the underpass is now. We also would like to thank all of those at the schools and the village that helped coordinate today's event, including all of the Kiwanians and other groups to help promote our event. Have some guests that we'd like to introduce. Superintendent Weber and Mayor Schneider will introduce their guests or their affiliate people that they have here representing the village and the schools during their presentation. But we invited some special guests today, and first I'd like to introduce our newest Lorain County Commissioner, Sharon Sweda. And she's joined today by, she would be our senior county commissioner, Larry Bukowski. I didn't say you were the oldest. I said you had the most experience. So give me a break. Lorain County Auditor Craig Snodgrass. And he's here with Tim Kochi and Alex DeMarco. Our county recorder is here as well, Judy Nickwick. And our Lorain County Sheriff, Bill Smitty. He's joined today by Chief Deputy Dennis Kavanaugh, Captain Jack Hammond, and Captain Daniel Ashman. From Lorain County Community College, the Vice President of Strategic and Institutional Development, Tracy Green. What a title. Our Wellington Coordinator, Amy Mania. And I believe Jennifer Judkins, our Strategic and Institutional Development, and Dan Forkover, Marketing and Communications, are also here with LCC. Our state representative, Dick Stein, from the 57th. And finally, Congressman Gibbs Gibbs' office, Jen Kaito and Tom Queen are here. I had the pleasure of working with Tom when he was with I think Congressman Renese's office over in Medina County, and he makes a great addition to our staff, our team over here representing the Congressman Gibbs. So welcome, Tom. 3 weeks ago, Wellington Kiwanis had its annual Pancake Day. It's an annual rite of wintertime here in Wellington. I have no idea how many annual Pancake Days we've had. I believe it's at least 60 to 70. I've been here almost 40, so I know it's at least 40. I'm going to talk to Shannon Hollingsworth from the Herrick Memorial Library. We're going to get a reference librarian to go back and see back in the enterprise how many years that thing's been going on. Because I believe it's the umpteenth. So this year we served more than 500 meals. We raised about $5,000 off of that event. And we want to thank those who advertised on the placemats that are in front of you. You got some bonus month. They got some extra bonus because we were able to reuse those placemats for today's events. 49 advertisers supported us so we can support the kids of Wellington. Wellington Kiwanis gives great support to the community, especially our local businesses. At your table, there are membership applications for our club, and it gives a concise overview of Kiwanis and what we do to serve the community. I'd like to touch on a few things as to what Kiwanis is all about. We've been in existence since 1924, which means we're celebrating our 95th anniversary. There are actually 2 clubs in Ohio that are in Lorraine County that are older than us, the Elyria Club and the Lorraine Club, and they'll be celebrating their 100th anniversary in a few months. We're a small group of about 2 dozen, but we lost 2 important leaders from our group in the past year, Morris Berkron and Nancy Ratliff. As everyone knows, Mo was a leader in so many ways for our community. I mean, it was just 2 years ago he was president of this organization and Well Health at the age of 89. He was an amazing guy. Nancy joined Kiwanis in 2015 when she retired from teaching at Westwood. Ever since the inception of Westwood K-Kids, Nancy was our K-Kids advisor. That started in I believe 2009 or 10, because Hans read the resolution at the last Board of Education meeting when we started K-Kids. She served as the advisor, and she continued in that role until she retired. When she retired, she stayed in that role. She was a literacy advocate. She and Ayers had a little library replica of our town hall in their front yard, filled with books for youngsters, and kids could come and exchange the books at no charge. She helped start the Dolly Parton Imagination Library in southern Lorraine County so that infants to 6 years old can get books free of charge delivered to them once a month. And we miss them both, but we still carry on in the Kiwanis tradition. We are committed to serving the children of the Wellington community. Our pride and joy is the sponsorship of our Wellington School Service Leadership Programs, the Key Club, the McCormick Middle School Builders Club, and the Westwood K-Kids. We have about 100 to 125 students in these clubs performing service work in the community as well as the schools. These are student-led clubs with volunteer advisors. Each year, Kiwanis will award 4 or 5 $1,000 scholarships to worthy Wellington High School seniors. We sponsor 2 sophomores to the Hugh O'Brien Youth Leadership Conference at Ohio Northern. We support Well Health, our local food pantry, and the Boy Scouts. Under the guidance of Mayor Ratliff, we help with the Duke Pride Carnival each April, serving pancakes and sponsoring the Big Bounce House. 2 years ago, we began partnering with the Wellington Schools Endowment Fund to help their underutilized college savings program for Wellington students. It's the only one of its kind in Ohio. Twice a year, they will provide a 25% match up to $250 to each student whose parents contribute to the Ohio Tuition Trust Authority College Savings Plan. So if a student puts in $1,000 in their child's savings plan, the endowment contributes $250 into that student's account. They don't do it once a year, they can do it twice a year. You know, but the problem with that program, it was never intended to be a secret club. But the fund was obviously underutilized and still continues to be underutilized. So Kiwanis proposed a $50 kindergarten scholarship. Cindy, go ahead and start through the breakfast line. We have tables set up for you guys so they can join right in. So let's go ahead and start them in for breakfast. We provide the first $50 to parents of kindergartners who enroll their students in the program. And then the endowment provides a 25% match. So the schools in Kiwanis are putting up the first $62.50. We have provided the seed money for 25 to 30 students to get them started in this unique program. We plan to conduct another kindergarten scholarship night in September. We meet weekly at 12 noon, most Thursdays at Bread and Brew on the square. Once a month, we conduct a business meeting. Most weeks we have a special speaker. We recently had Fire Chief Mike Weatherby, Police Chief Tim Barfield give their annual reports from 2018. We often have our county elected leaders attend. Last fall, we had Roger Dorsey from Sleep in Heavenly Peace give a presentation. This is a charity group designed to provide handmade bunk beds for children who don't have beds of their own. Our Key Club advisor, Katie Woods, has been taking Key Club members to building sessions and volunteering their time to assemble and deliver beds. Other Kiwanis groups are looking at this as a service project as well. So those are some of the programs that we have held here at, they're always good informative programs. You'll learn something every time. Our fundraising includes Pancake Day, usually in February and March on a Friday. We try to keep it outside of Lent so our Catholic friends can have sausage. People love our sausage. We sell admission tickets at the Lorain County Fair. We also have our annual Morris Furcon Peterson nut sale in the fall. If you were ever approached by Mo for nuts, you bought. And so we have a legacy to continue. And it was first year without Mo, we set a record. Well, last year we sold a record $10,500 worth of nuts, netting us over $5,000 in proceeds. And that's why we can do this program we do. We have some social activities locally and with other clubs from throughout the county, so it's not all work. But please take a look at the handout at your table, fill it out. The costs for membership are shown. We'd love to have you join us. You don't have to attend every week. We know people's schedules are busy. You can join as an individual, business, or as a family. We're here to serve. I was just coming back from vacation. I was reading a lot on the plane. I was reading Michelle Obama's new book, Becoming. And one of the comments that she's got in the book is, kids invest more in themselves when they feel like they are being invested in. And but we'd like to say, we'd like to invest in our kids. Kiwanis is for kids, so we'd love to have you join us. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Schneider and Village Administrator Steve Doobie. You know, last year we increased for the first time in like 40-some years our income tax. Franklin Roosevelt said, "Happiness lies in the joy of achievement and the thrill of creative effort." And the fact that we were able to pass that pretty well this past year is a great achievement, and it took a team effort from the village council and the community to do that. So congratulations to the mayor and his team. So at this point, I'd like to turn it over to Mayor Hans Schneider.
There. Got our presentation pulled up here. All right, we're going to take just a quick look back at 2018. We had our bicentennial celebration, some safety service highlights, municipal income tax, as Terry said, economic development and infrastructure, what we'll talk about today. Our bicentennial celebration was a collaborative effort between State Street, Wellington, the Chamber of Commerce, the Spirit 76 Museum, and the Village. We had a monthly speaker series, if you got a chance to attend that. We had a variety of different speakers. We had a bicentennial ball where some people, including myself, came dressed in period garb. Vintage baseball. If you didn't get a chance to take a look at baseball back in the 1880s, they are coming back this September, the last Sunday in September. We're going to do another double header with ladies and men, so Teresa Moselles. Get ready. We had a military fair, an antique car show, and we unveiled our new village seal. And that's basically what that is there, with the exception of the bicentennial verbiage there. Just some safety service forces highlights. Our police department, with the motto of justice, compassion, and humility. Their 2018 stats, they had 6,446 contacts with citizens. We have just under 5,000 citizens here in the village, so good job by our department. We fielded just over 43,000 calls. We had 858 contacts with motorists, which is down, so people that think maybe we're a speed trap or anything, we're not. We had 120 crash reports investigated, 31 arrests. We did add a full-time officer for day shift. Community outreach, Chief Barfield and his team worked extremely hard on the LINK program. We did a national night out, where we also did a music video to Michael Stanley's My Town. And they have also started Coffee with Cop out at McDonald's on, Chief, is that the first Wednesday from 11 to 1? Out there, so you can sit out there with a cop and talk about the village. Recognition, the Officer of the Year was Ralph Werkner. Our Dispatcher of the Year was Susan Walker. And the overall Village Employee of the Year was Chief Barfield this past year. As Terry mentioned earlier, Mo Furman passed. If you knew Mo, you knew Wellington. And Mo treated everybody the same. He worked for the police department for 29 years as officer at police chief, and then later served as zoning inspector. It really was Mr. Everything here in Wellington, supporting a bunch of different things, selling tickets to a variety of different things. He will be missed, but he will not be forgotten. The Wellington Fire District, although it doesn't fall under the purview of the village itself, is an important part of the village. Chief Weatherby over there, his department, they serve 5 surrounding townships covering 125 square miles. They have 2 full-time staff, 30 part-time. Just some highlights to them: 566 calls, which is their highest call total ever. 42% were medical assistance, followed by 15% vehicle accidents. And I think that 42% stands out on how fire departments have changed. It's not just fires anymore, it's a variety of things. And they've done a great job with their training hours and getting their people trained to be first responders and first on the scene. So in 2019, they had some capital improvement project building expansion, 5,800 square feet, over their firefighter of the year was Dave Rosen. The ambulance district, again, doesn't fall under our guidance, but serves the entire Southern Lorraine County under Skip Gentry, who's also here at the table with Chief and boat chief. He's completely done a 180 on the ambulance district and really has brought them up to the 21st century. They have 17 paramedics, 10 EMTs. They also cover 125 square miles, 1,439 calls last year, on pace for 1,800 calls this year. So I mean, they are valuable in what they do. They've implemented advanced training protocols. They have a situation room there that at any time, Skip will call his people in there to do a situation they have no preparation for. And again, that helps us out here if we need it. Public outreach, Stop the Bleed campaign, and they also offer CPR and first aid classes for healthcare providers and general public at low cost. They do that pretty regularly. I think they're getting ready to offer one right now, right? At this point, I'll turn this part over to Steve. I'll go there.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everybody. I am Steve, Village Manager for Wellington. Happy to be here with you this morning. Terry, where is Terry? Oh, there you are. I don't have any FDR quotes, Terry, but thank you in any case in bringing up the issue of municipal income tax. So, as Terry indicated, the village passed a municipal income tax increase in 2018. This was an extremely important issue for the public. The village tried on 4 occasions, 3 times in the 80s and once in the early 2000s to raise the local municipal income tax. And finally, this year we were successful at that, and it's going to put the village on good financial footing and stability, and allow us to do a number of things to move our community forward. So the municipal income tax rate moves from 1% or raised from 1% to 1.75%. It will generate approximately $750,000 a year. Presently, we receive about $1.7 million in municipal income tax proceeds. So somebody turned up the mic. Thank you. Good. Thank you. But so this will raise an additional $750,000, and again, that's going to allow the village to do a number of things. Municipal income tax does primarily funds two parts of our operation. Of course, general fund. We talk about public services, or I should say police services, as well as our public works department, our rec parks, buildings and grounds, administration and finance. So it supports all of those operations. And then, of course, our capital infrastructure investment. Primarily, we're talking about roadways and streets, but also capital equipment like police cars, dump trucks, backhoes, all the equipment that we need in order to provide municipal services to the community. One of the things that council did, they were committed to reestablishing reciprocity as part of this tax issue. And what that means is that citizens who work outside of the community prior to passage of ballot issue 34 pay municipal income tax to both their work community as well as the full rate to Wellington. And with the passage of this issue, folks who work outside of our community will get a credit against their obligation for Wellington's tax rate, and therefore for a majority of residents that means that total municipal income taxes went down. The other thing is that this tax did not apply to Social Security benefits or other retirement income, which was an important issue for our folks on fixed incomes. So what does this mean at the end of the day? The village will be able to maintain its current level of municipal services. Certainly we were faced with and looking at some fairly draconian cuts in 2019, so we're able to avoid that. We're able to restore investment in our infrastructure projects. I'm going to talk a little bit, just briefly, about infrastructure in 2018, and you'll see that we limited that just to ensure that we making sure where this was going to turn out for us. It'll allow us to leverage grants and other loan programs. The village has done an excellent job at leveraging state funds to support our local funds for capital infrastructure investment. And over the past couple of years, we were limited in our ability to do that. I think more importantly, and the chief would probably agree, that the municipal income tax ballot issue will allow us to relocate our police department, and the mayor's going to talk a little bit about where we're at with that project, and of course just allowing us to maintain reasonable reserves and following prudent financial practices. This will allow us to weather storms and downturn in the economy, or after we lose a large employer. We'll be well prepared for that. So just an overview of village finances. Again, because of the municipal income tax increase, we have a balanced budget for 2019. It's about $3.3 million. Again, we were able to restore our capital improvement transfer and maintain village services. Our enterprise funds, and when I say enterprise funds, I'm talking about our utility services, so water, sewer, electric. All of those utilities are in good financial shape. We have balanced budgets for 2019. In a number of those utilities, we're building cash reserves for future infrastructure investment. And for our electric division, we're currently in the process of a cost of service study just to make sure that we're fairly and equitably allocating costs across our different customer classifications. That's one side of the equation. The other side, of course, is economic development. Obviously, the village wants to move forward, be able to expand its tax base to create local opportunities for employment. And this is probably one thing that we don't spend a lot of time talking about, so it's great to have these opportunities to tout our successes from an economic development perspective. And in 2018, we had an excellent year from an economic development perspective. Our largest employer, Forest City, on the right, expanded their manufacturing facility on Maple Street. They have several plants around the village, but so they have their largest operation is on Maple Street in the industrial park, and they added 66,000 square feet of manufacturing space, which will lead to more job creation, and they're doing extremely well. They've actually started to move some manufacturing operations into that new facility. And then the other big news for us was that we were able to lure a new company to the village called US Screen. And in fact, they just finished this building and put the name up this week, so I went out and grabbed a quick picture. But US Screen is a small manufacturing company that does deliquification of, or I should say, creates heavy-duty screen and deliquifies that for products in the dairy and the sugar industries. They are a small company, but are poised for significant growth in the future. So we're very happy to have them. The company is owned by two former Wellington residents. So not only did we have success in the industrial park, but also in our downtown community. I think I saw Jenny. Jenny, are you in here? Where are you at? Oh, there you are. Hi, Jenny. So Jenny Arts is our Main Street director. We have a local Main Street program that works to support economic development in the downtown community and to market and create opportunities for businesses to locate in the downtown community. We had some great success there in 2018 with relocation or location of new businesses, of 6 new businesses, and they're listed here at the bottom of the slide. But a couple examples are the Charm Farmhouse, which is a home decor store on Herrick Avenue, and then Salon Image. Salon Image was a hair salon that moved from actually a factory that burned down, and offered an opportunity for having some renovation and revitalization of a train depot adjacent to the railroad. It turned out really, really nice, and we're glad to have Salon Image there. And then finally, as most of you know, Mercy Health built a new urgent care clinic and physician office north of town, and then one of our local dentists just finished a new dental office on West Herrick, Dr. Paul, and this picture probably doesn't do it justice, but the building is beautiful, and congratulations to her. We'll move on to 2018 infrastructure improvements. Again, the village, because of the municipal income tax ballot issue, we kind of limited the amount of infrastructure investment that we did in 2018, and mainly it was related to just some cleanup and operations and maintenance, a little bit of painting of our downtown fluted poles, and we obviously wanted to do that in advance of the bicentennial celebration, and it turned out really, really nice, and created some nice aesthetics for our downtown community. We also did some parking improvements with the conversion of parallel parking to angle parking on East Herrick, as well as we added a new parking lot, the North Main Street parking lot, which is adjacent to the underpass, creating some additional parking spaces. And then, of course, ODOT did their resurfacing project on 58 last year. That couldn't have come at a more opportune time for us. In particular, as most of you know, around the entrance of the high school, where we had significant deterioration of the pavement. So that was a great project, and one that was desperately needed. Finally, in 2018, we did embark upon a pavement condition survey to look at our streetscape and to help us guide our future decisions and prioritize future decisions as it relates to roadway improvements. The village has 81 streets, 70 of those are concrete, 11 are asphalt, and we hired, actually we have a couple gentlemen here from Pogemeyer Design Group, who's the village's engineer, and we hired them to do a pavement condition survey for us, which assessed all the streets based on pavement distresses, such as cracks, spalling, and raveling, and the severity and the extent of those distresses. Ultimately, the village fares pretty well. 2/3, 66% of the streets are either rated good or very good. We have 14 that are rated fair, 9 that are rated fair to poor, and then 4 that are rated poor. And so for 2019, we decided to address some of these issues. But again, this will allow us to prioritize our future street improvements. And so it's a good segue for looking ahead. And in 2019, we're going to do a number of asphalt repaving projects. And 2 of those streets were streets that were rated poor in our condition survey, and they include portions of Jones Street, Cortlandt Street, a very small section of Wenner Street, and then we're also going to re-asphalt one of our public parking spaces downtown off of Taylor Street, and then our rail crossings at Barker, McGar, and Prospect. And we just received bids for that, and we'll be awarding those bids to a contractor on Monday night. A couple other key projects in 2019 include the Quiet Zone project. This is the project to eliminate as best as possible train horns through the downtown community. The village has been working with, for many years, has been working with CSX to establish a quiet zone. The quiet zone will require improvements by both the railroad and by the village. And right now, the CSX is finishing up their engineering work. Once they do that, they'll provide us a schedule for their improvements, which is essentially power out indicators at what they call their dog houses at crossings. And then the village will have a number of improvements to do related to curbing and median improvements, as well as signage for pedestrians. One of the other big projects, and again, our engineers are assisting us with this, and this is in our water division. We are replacing our ground storage tank on Erie Street. It's a 1950s vintage tank. Certainly has done its time, and so we'll be replacing that tank, which will help us with continued storage capacity, as well as some mixing capabilities to provide and ensure high quality water. This project is a $650,000 improvement and will be funded by Ohio Public Works Commission and EPA 0% loans. And then the other big project of the water department is our raw water pumping improvement project. We have a raw water station on Jones Road, and that is used to pump water from the Charlotte Creek into our up-ground reservoir. And so we'll be replacing those pumps and adding some variable frequency drives. This is a $700,000 project, and again will be funded by Public Works Commission and EPA loans. And then finally, we have one more project, and actually that's an ODOT project. ODOT is going to be resurfacing Route 18 in 2019. It's actually 13 miles of new asphalt from the Lorain County line to the from the Huron County line to the Medina County line through the village, and we expect that this project will commence in June. One of the things that the village will be doing is we have some aging water line still in the roadway. and we need to remove that or move that or relocate it prior to the ODOT coming in and doing their resurfacing work. So we'll be completing that project. I think with that, Mayor, I'm going to turn it back to you to finish up with park development and police relocation.
Thank you, Steve. Just quick on the park development, as most of you know, we acquired former middle school property in 2017. We decided to do a passive park based on two public input forms that we had. We had a 13-member committee go ahead and come together with some ideas. We did hire a park designer, Brubeck Design, to help us guide us through that. Some of the design features that we ended up with was a grand entrance with a water feature from Route 58, a bandstand, a playground, a walking path, gathering spaces and landscaping, and Wellington-centric features such as like a script Wellington sign. We announced the name of the park in July of 2018, Union School Park, which goes back to the first school that was there, Union School. And we came up with this final concept plan. This committee will reconvene on April 1st at 5 p.m. To talk about, probably the most important aspect of that is our fundraising efforts and how we raise the money. We estimate about $1.6 million to get that park designed. So anybody interested in sitting in on those meetings, those are open to the public. They'll be on the second floor of the town hall in the South Meeting Room. Again, that'll be April 1st at 5 p.m. Police Department relocation, which is where we spent a lot of last year talking about with issue 34. They currently operate on the first floor of the town hall, in about 1,000 square foot with 10 full-time employees. Again, everything is in that 1,000 square feet. Their lobby, administrative offices, dispatch center, interview room, evidence room, jail, break room, locker room. I mean, we squeezed about everything we could in there, right, Chief? Here's one of the multi-purpose rooms. It's a break room, lunch room, locker room, training room, interview room. All in one. And we do utilize space, well, you gotta get into that. We have records stored out in an unsecured location. The multi-purpose room, the lieutenant's office is an interview room and an IT room, which is technically a closet. Again, space constraints, booking and evidence room, dispatch, key needs of the police department. We wanted to keep them in the downtown district. We felt it was very important for them to be centrally located. We were looking for square footage of 5,000 square feet. Sally Port for safe transport of individuals. Again, then storage facilities, interview rooms, evidence rooms that are separate from each other. Separation of the lunchroom and locker room, bathrooms, training, and IT. We did settle on this building on East Herrick, as I believe most people here know. It met those needs, downtown location, 5,000 square feet. Area to construct Sally Port. We purchased and finalized that in December 2018. Currently there are tenants in there. We are working with them to find suitable relocation for them here within the community. We have a preliminary design, which will be the next slide. That's what we'll just focus on this year is preliminary design, and then construction start in mid-2020. So this is one of the initial designs that we had. I'm gonna move out of the way just a little bit here. Let's see. This is the front of the building. This would be Route 18. The front of the building is almost move-in ready. It's essentially going to be offices, conference room. The back end, if you've been in that building, will need extensive reconstruction. We'll put on the Sally Port here at the end. We have evidence room, locker rooms, separate bathrooms, armory, everything in back there. This is the initial idea that we came up with. It's kind of changed a little bit before. Since then, we've added a second floor on the back end here for storage, record storage. So as we continue to develop those plans, we will go ahead and share those with the public. But 2019 will be spent, again, coming up with that final plan, working with the police chief, and figuring out what the needs are for this department. And when we talk about that, those needs, we're not talking about just in the next 5 years. We're talking, for the next several decades. So with that, we're almost done. If you know Jack Coates, he had approached me and Steve when we put this together and said, hey, I want to give you guys some jokes that you could share with everybody in attendance. So after we thumbed through them and realizing we would offend everybody, including ourselves, we decided to go a different route. So could we have Patty Young and Tom Stannard come up, please? As they look at each other like, what is going on? Those of you that know Patty and Tom is part of the ownership group of Wellington Implement, celebrated their 90th anniversary here of continuous service. We declared February 5th this year, Wellington Implement Day. We went out and gave a nice presentation out there at just right next door here. And that was just part one. You don't know what part two is, so that's why you're here today. Instead of going with Jack's jokes, we're going to go with a presentation of a key to the village. Key to the Village of Wellington 2019, presented to Wellington Implement. 90 years of continuous service by 4 generations of the Young and Stannard families to Wellington and the surrounding communities, March 14th, 2019.
Yeah, this is a super big surprise, and thank you very much to you, Hans, and the rest of the village. You know, it's a great time to be part of this village. You know, I look at what you and Steve are doing, and it's what's the facelift, although it was minor, to the downtown for the bicentennial has been great, and just seeing what's going on in our schools right now. You know, you'll hear from Ed and Tina later, but I think they're just doing a great job for us. And the last time we had a superintendent live in the district, I think I was in 4th grade, he walked around in a 3-piece suit and a bottle of Tabasco sauce. So having that dedication back in the district is great, and we just thank everybody here in the village for helping make our business successful. It's all comes down to the customers and the community.
When I was 18 years old, I couldn't get far enough away from Wellington. And I did. I lived in New Orleans, Cincinnati, New York City, and I had a great time doing all of that. But 20 years ago, my cousin said, how do you think you would like living back in Wellington and working at Wellington Implement? Have you ever thought about it? And I said, never did I think about it. And I said, I'll call you back in a week. And my cousin Bill said, I'll call you tomorrow night. So they wanted an answer quickly and fast. And the reason was that they wanted to build this building next door. And my dad wouldn't approve it. So my dad, who had 2 daughters, I became the son he never had. And that was 20 years ago. And I am so glad to be back in Wellington. I really enjoyed living here. And I even ran against Hans here for mayor, and I don't know what I was thinking. I'm so glad he won. So thank you. Having this key is such an honor. Thank you very much.
With that, our presentation from the village, and I guess we turn it over to Ed Weber and Tina for the school.
Thank you, Mayor. Our award-winning treasurer, Tina Gabler, has been recognized by the State Attorney General. We'll switch over on the presentation here. Okay. Well, I know the students are here, and I hope you realize you're not getting a totally free breakfast. We are going to ask you to assist us here in a minute. Mrs. Gabler will bring a handout to a group of students, and I'll take the other side. We ask you to help us solicit and pass out this back card to the community here. All right, so we'll just tag team here for a second.
You guys can help pass this out.
If you didn't get a handout, can you raise your hand and we'll have a student help assist you? All right, if we can have all the students stand up then. We've got students here from our high school, Wellington High School, from McCormick Middle School, and Westwood Elementary School. We want to recognize you. And this very first little slide up here on mission and vision, this is our work to make school possible for you, to open the gateways to your future so that you can assume the leadership roles in your community here in Wellington and from New York City to Stanford, California. So the whole country and world is yours for the taking. That is the mission of our work, and we're dedicated to serve you. I wanted to introduce some of our other team members here today. Nancy Nemo, she's the director of our Student Services Department, helping with special ed, gifted education, Title I services. Any additional services that students may need come from her office. Jim Krasinski, he's our technology coordinator for the district, helping a lot behind the scenes today. And if you've seen our new website, he was the guy behind that. Our new mobile app, or some of our new door access features and technology and Chromebooks into our classrooms. They're all coming out of his office. He's had a very, very busy couple of years, and thank you for your great work, Jim. Mr. Bowman in the back corner, he leads our Office on Student Life. Some may say athletic director, but it's a big and bold vision of serving all kids and promoting a healthy life and active life for them. We really are the belief that you need to connect with school. We want every student connected in some type of club, activity, or sport. And you may have heard terms like pay to play in the past. Your board and myself and our treasurer, Mrs. Gabler, we believe the opposite of that. You pay not to play. We absolutely need to have you engaged in an activity at school. And we hope to continue to offer more opportunities for you to join a club of your interest. Also here today, Chris Lamp. Where are you, Chris? Chris is our newest bus driver. And if you know much about driving buses, they are hard to get a good driver. Chris just passed his exam a few weeks ago, get his CDL, and also a graduate of Wellington High School. So thank you, Chris, and welcome to our bus driving fleet and other things you do for us. Kelsey Horton is a new guidance counselor for us over at McCormick. She serves us in student services. Cindy Kadowski, she's our K-Kids advisor. Where are you? There she is. Teacher over at Westwood and leads our mighty K-Kids organization. Mr. Baxendale, our principal from McCormick Middle School. And Tina Drake, our high school principal and recent ACT champion for the state of Ohio. I also wanted to ask a former board member, Sally Stewart, to please rise and be acknowledged. She served 12 years on school board governance. A lot of the things happening in our schools happened under her leadership, and making organizational change and improvements take time. So the fruits of the school district are still blossoming from your service, Sally, and so thank you so much. Our school has undergone a planning process over the last 18 months to really set a roadmap forward for our school's success. And we did that through a number of surveys, basically asking residents and employees of the school system to fill out a survey that said one thing they loved about Wellington schools and one thing they would change if they could change it. And we took that input in a board strategic planning committee about a year to pull all that together and to build out some overarching goals. And today I'm going to speak a little bit more on goal 1 and 2. Mrs. Gabler will speak a little bit more on goal 3, but we may tag team a little bit on a couple of these. Firstly, overwhelmingly from the surveys we received is that the residents and the families in the history of Wellington is deep in that they love their schools. And it just came through many of the messages. They love their teachers, they love the school system, the opportunities it provides for the young people. And you couldn't get away from looking at those results to see that there was a lot of love to gain and give in this community. And I wanted to make that well known that we saw throughout there. And if you pick up our long brochure on this, this is our simple one-pager, but you can see these comments and some of the details of that report. From our sports and activities, you know, our bus drivers on there, teachers giving 100% every day. And of course, that's what it takes for our success. I mentioned a little bit on student life. You'll also see that on the brochure on the back. Many of the opportunities for kids to make a connection. And if you can't make a connection today, please work with your principals to find what kind of organization or club that you could make a connection to, and we will try to help support that for you. Our first goal, and we look at these overarching goals, we don't anticipate our goals changing for several years. And this goal 1 is that every student graduates with college option and career skills. And that means both. And so sometimes someone will say, well, I'm not going to college. And we want to say, great, that's your decision. But it's not our decision to not prepare you for college. It is our decision to prepare you for college and prepare you for the workplace. We want you to have both. So the vision is that every kid who walks across the graduation stage at Wellington High School carries an acceptance letter into college and also carries a work key assessment that says, I can be employed at a livable wage with a skill that I've developed while in high school, through an internship, through coursework, through experiences, or a job that you get during your high school years. And that you have an acceptance letter to further your education if you decide you want to go to college. So we can't make the decision at 14 or 15 or 16, maybe 17 if you're graduating at 17. But at 18 years old, we want you to have both options. You want to go to college, you got a plan ready to go. You want to go to work, you have a skill that's employable that you can live on to earn a wage. And we're well on our way to trying to develop some of that goal 1. And each of the goals will have these action plans and others that will fill in as we accomplish these. But each of our schools has one of these. So right up at the very beginning is to improve our literacy work at Westwood. If we can develop the good reading skills that our students need, they'll benefit from that all through school and college and life. A good reader helps every other subject. And so nothing is more important at Westwood than developing great reading skills. And that's why we see that literacy mentioned as one of our top strategic actions that we want to make sure we do really well at Westwood. At McCormick, we wanted them to be able to hang their hat with STEM and gifted programming so that they could be the talk of the county of where are they doing really great STEM activities. And McCormick recently received a grant from the Army Outreach Program where they're doing solar cars, which is really just launching our STEM focus at the school. We also started a new coding program where kids can take computer science in the middle school. And we're going to continue to invest and make those improvements. But the goal there is that McCormick gets the reputation as the regional STEM collaborative center for middle school students throughout the Southern Lorraine County region. And our high school, well on its way of expanding AP and college courses that students at the high school have an option to. Last year we had AP biology. This year we have 5 AP classes, 6 AP classes, and next year we have 7 or 8. So the thought is everybody takes an AP, everybody teaches an AP. And the choice is which one do you want to do? So do you want to take an AP Math, AP Science, or do you want fine art, like AP Music or AP Art? So it doesn't have to be in the core subject areas. There's AP courses in all fields. A fundamental belief, all kids have gifts and talents. All kids exceed in some field. And it's part of our work to help them find out where are their gifts and talents and help develop them and make sure we offer the best programming for them. Goal 2, this is also something from our survey. Not everyone has had the most positive experience at our schools. And so we want to make sure that we're cognizant of that message. And sometimes we can be quick to make an excuse or say that, well, that's not really what happened. And sometimes those may be true, but it doesn't take away someone else's reality. What happened to them, what they perceive that happened to them, and we have to do a better job in regard to engaging our community. And that is to acknowledge that our customer service has to improve, and that everyone who walks into our schools need to be welcomed, all of them need to be paid attention to, need to be listened to, and responded in a professional and timely manner. And we thought we needed to do that in a variety of ways. And I mentioned the website earlier that we wanted to work on. Later this spring, you're going to receive in the mail a quality profile. It's kind of like our own report card on our success, what we think we're doing well, and where we think we need to improve. That has been an undertaking for us. And then also to make sure that we're engaging, talking about the positive things in our school and the focus of our work through the Rural Urban and other media outlets, through our website and apps and other communication plans, including our dialogue with the board, which is a monthly series we copied off of the mayor's coffee to engage with our community. Mrs. Gabler, do you want to highlight some of Goal 3?
Thank you, Mr. Weber. I just want to thank everybody for coming out this morning and showing your support for the village and the schools. It does mean a lot, and it does take a village. Goal 3 is the responsible use and transparency of our finances. So with that, if I can do the mic and this. One of my own goals as a professional with the district was to join something that former treasurer, state treasurer Josh Mandel advocated for was the Ohio checkbook. And with the Ohio checkbook, what that does is that it takes all public entities and it opens up our checkbook. And it puts it out on, now it's Mr. Robert Sprague is our new Ohio treasurer. But what it does is it allows us to open up our checkbook. And any one of you can log on to the Ohio Treasurer's website. And then from there, you'll see it says, welcome to the OhioCheckbook.com. And if you click on that, okay, and you search for Wellington Exempted Village School District, you can see our entire checkbook. You can see where we spend our money, who we writing checks to, when did we write them. So the first one you see here on this page is the state of Ohio. This is your state Ohio checkbook. But if you go over to local gov and schools, and of course it's thinking. But I just wanted to give you a quick glance because I know our time is starting to be limited. But any entity, this is a totally volunteer program, so it's up to the political subdivision to decide whether or not they want to join this. That's not right. Whether or not they want to join this incentive. But essentially, if you get onto their website and you go under local government and schools, there we go. And then if you will just type in at the search, if you just start typing in Wellington, you can see all the ones within the Wellington community that are a part of this. And then click on the Wellington Exempted Village Schools. Yep, and then view the checkbook. And we just started this initiative 2 fiscal years ago. I wasn't comfortable in putting out past history that I wasn't a part of. So I started this since I've been here. When you first log on, it will ask you if you want to take a tour and do a tutorial. If you're not real familiar with Excel type spreadsheets, I would recommend you take the tour. It kind of gives you the baseline idea of what to click on and how to get there. But for this morning, we'll just get started. So if you look at this, this is our checkbook. And just whatever I might use this. So you can see we started this with the 2016-17 fiscal year, and then it also has 17-18, and then sometime in July I will load up this fiscal year. If you scroll down, it will show you all of our records. It shows you in each one of these columns you can sort on and you can search on. If you know the vendor name and you want to say, well gosh, what does the schools pay to the Wellington Implement? Do they do any business out there? Under the vendor name, you can type in Wellington Implement and it'll show you every transaction that we've ever issued a check to Wellington Implement, and it'll also tell you what it was for. The bar graphs at the top, if you highlight over each one of these, it'll tell you what it is and how much we've spent for that fiscal year in that category. There are filters you can place on this. You can drill down. It's essentially an Excel sheet, but it's our check register. So this was one of our goals and one of our initiatives to become more transparent. We said this is a volunteer thing. The Board of Education believed that this was a great tool for us to give to the village, to give to our investors so that they can see where exactly we are spending our funds. With that, on goal 3 on our action plans, we hope to establish site-based budgets for each school. We've started this process. One of the things that we've done to help make this better is like our utility bills and the maintenance of each buildings. They used to be under just one specific account code. Now we're breaking that down so that we know what does the new building, what does McCormick Middle School now cost us to operate versus Westwood or the high school. So we're starting those, so after the next couple of years we'll start to have data and trends so that we can see where our dollars are going to maintain those facilities. We're also developing a 4-year facilities improvement plan. This is an initiative that Mr. Weber has been working on. We've been working on it for probably the past 6 to 9 months, and we're hoping to share more of that with the board. We did a highlight in March, and we will continue to develop and work on that with them. We also intend to develop a long-term financial structure to promote district stability. What does that mean? Today, I don't have a solid answer. What I can tell you though is that we are in communication with the board over some type of a permanent improvement fund levy. A permanent improvement fund levy is just for solely permanent improvements. It's money that is earmarked to replace our parking lots. It's money that's earmarked to purchase buses. It's money that's earmarked for technology, for textbooks, for anything that has a useful life of more than 5 years. So any type of a permanent improvement. Currently, the school system does not have such a fund. We do on the books, we do have a permanent improvement fund, but that permanent improvement fund is funded from our general fund. The Board of Education here every year transfers money out of the checkbook that you see over to that permanent improvement fund. And that's how we've been able to buy the few buses that we have, make the renovations down at Dixon Stadium. That's not a practice that we can continue. So we are starting the conversations with the community, with the Board of Education. No decisions have been made, but we have to start that communication. Going forward, how are we going to maintain the facilities that we have? So that is part of our goal 3 within our action plan, is to make sure that the schools are viable and stable and can continue to maintain the structures that we have. Mr. Weber, anything else you'd like to add or?
Well, the studies on Westwood and the high school, which are older physical structures, they're at the point where we can still fix them up at a much better cost than replace them. So our numbers are looking at about $11 million is needed to bring Westwood and the high school up to the kind of shape that McCormick's in, which is the new school that the community invested in. To build something like that would be much more expensive than to renovate or fix them up. So that is our effort to be a good steward of what we do ask for. But if you're going to make an investment, you want to make it at the right time so that it doesn't cost you double. And we've made some of those mistakes historically, like the bleachers at Dixon Field. If we wait till they crumble and they need a complete overhaul, it costs a lot more. Same with some of our parking lots. We have a maintenance and a restoration process that we're doing for any of our good facilities. Like we went through and tarred and sealed some of our parking lots this past summer, but we didn't do it to other parking lots because it would have been good money after bad, because the foundation of the parking lot is so bad it has to be rebuilt. So we're conscious about doing proper maintenance, but also acknowledging we don't want to waste money on something that we didn't timely service when we should have. So those are the types of things we've got to get right, and we're trying to figure out what is that right dollar amount that we're looking at. In theory, we think we'll be $8 or $9 a month is what we'll need to really make the investment into the older schools to give them the kind of student experience that they have at McCormick. And a permanent improvement fund is basically an investment in 5 years or more. So that includes textbooks, some computer equipment, some of the upgrades in regard to school safety and security to our buildings, and to modernize them. So we'll be explaining more of that with the community in the months ahead. So that's goal 3. It's a real important part that we make sure that the financial structure of the school district can survive over time. And without dedicated funds to your facilities or to your assets, they can erode, because when you can't afford certain bills, you're not going to have money to do repairs. And sometimes we face that even in our own household. We might let the roof go another year, or we might let the driveway go another year, because we're trying to pay our utility bills. The school's not in that position today, but it could be in that position in the future. And good stewardship means we ask before we get to that spot that we think coming up soon is the time to make an investment, where we waited as long as we can, but not too long. We have to ask you for double because we didn't do smart thinking. So that's goal 3. It's a tough one, but it's one that we have to share to you and make sure that you have every opportunity to make that investment at the right time for This has been the work of your school board for the past year and a half. They're a very dedicated group. We have several meetings a month, and they are generous with their time, sometimes going into the late night hours. And that work of better governance will help us run better schools, have more opportunities for our students, and make sure that, I mentioned at the beginning, the mission of our work, serving the young people of this community, making sure that all the doors are open for you to determine where your life's going to go, and that we've done our part to make sure you have the skills, the knowledge, the training, the confidence, the encouragement to spread your wings and sail to a bright future. Thank you for coming. I'm going to turn it back to our president. He did not tell us about Kiwanis and why it's such a great partner to our schools. If you hear Kiwanis and you look on our website, the word right under Kiwanis is it's all about the kids. And Kiwanis is a service organization dedicated to the young people of this country. And since we're the Wellington Kiwanis Club, we're dedicated to you, the children of this community. And for a school system to have such a great club and a great leader like Terry leading us means it's all coming back right to our school children. So thank you to Kiwanis for all of their work, and thank you to our school leaders and community for supporting us.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Tina. We're all working together here in Wellington. We got to keep talking to each other. That tends to be a pitfall with governments across the country, really. You got to keep talking to each other, and if we keep doing that, we're going to continue to move ahead. So at this point, we're tight on time, but do we have any questions that people would like to ask? We can take a couple. Otherwise, I'm going to ring the bell and we're going to stand adjourned. I just wanted to point out we didn't introduce some of your folks. You want to do that real quick, just so people know that they were here?
My fault for not doing that. Council President Dean Hartman, Council Member Mark Kaufman, and longtime council member and historian of why we do what we did way back then, Guy Wells. They're in the background. Other members that aren't here, though, are Helen Brunsfield, Bill Bogan, and Keith Rowland. And they all six of them as a group do a great job on behalf of the city.
Thank you very much. Skip Gentry from the ambulance district is here. We've already, Tim Barfield from the police, Mike Weatherby from fire, Janet Hollinsworth from the library is here. So just some of our other local people that you may not know. So at this point, I am going to do my presidential duty and chime the bell, and we stand adjourned. Thank you very much. We'll do this again next year.